From cabinet goodies to cafe menus, those two little letters GF are constantly making an appearance. Some shops even have a whole section dedicated to them. The demand for gluten-free products is growing rapidly, but who really reaps the health benefits? Gluten refers to proteins found in wheat, rye, barley and oats. For most of us, it helps give baking that soft, chewy texture we love. For others, like student Sarah, it's a real kick in the gut.
Normally after eating gluten, I feel a lot of pain, both in my stomach and in my joints. I get a lot of joint pain, which can make it really difficult to move. I'm usually sick anywhere between 4 days and 7 days. Even once I start to feel better, I usually can't keep down a lot of food.
These symptoms are common for those who are gluten intolerant, but can be dangerous for those diagnosed with celiac disease, like Sarah. Celiac disease is not a food allergy or intolerance, it's an autoimmune condition. It's caused when our body's immune system mistakes gluten for a threat and makes special gluten-fighting antibodies to protect itself. The triggered immune system causes inflammation, which damages the lining of the small intestine. Inside our intestinal wall are millions of villi, little hair-like structures that break down and absorb the nutrients of our food. In celiacs, the inflammation caused by gluten flattens out these villi, reducing the surface area of the bowel needed for nutrition absorption. This immune response and gut damage is the major difference between those who have celiac disease and those who have gluten sensitivity or intolerance. While the symptoms may be similar, the consequences of eating gluten aren't.
I was definitely struggling with a lot of weight loss. I couldn't keep on any weight, and I actually got quite thin. Prior to diagnosis, I wasn't getting any intake of nutrients, and I was slowly starving myself. I apparently had been celiac for such a long time that most of my small intestine was quite damaged. The doctor came out to me and said, "You definitely have celiac disease and you should stop eating gluten immediately."
When the body can't absorb enough nutrients, there's an increased risk of malnourishment, anemia, and osteoporosis. Left untreated, those with celiac disease have a higher risk of other major complications.
I definitely felt a huge sense of relief when I got the diagnosis. It's hard to explain how relieving it feels to realize that all of your symptoms and all of your issues are actually being caused by something and it's not all in your head. After transitioning to being gluten-free, it did take a while for me to feel better. I would say about 6 weeks to 3 months, anywhere in between there. It was a very gradual change as well. And I think it took about 2 years for my celiac antibodies to completely return to normal. I'd say it's really important to know what's going into my food. I'm always scared there could be cross-contamination or that something I'm working with, one of my ingredients, for example, could have gluten in it. The main foods I can't eat would probably be bread, pastas, most desserts, cakes, pastries, most sauces, really anything that is overly processed I can't eat. It is really difficult to avoid gluten. I think people don't quite realize how far it extends, and it's not just in the products, it's in the preparation as well. I can't share chopping boards with people, I can't share toasters, I can't even share an oven because there's a fan bake setting and that can blow the gluten all over the oven and contaminate everything else.
It's estimated that 1 in 100 Kiwis may have the disease. But because the symptoms are similar to those of other gut issues, diagnosis of celiac disease can be difficult. Getting tested is useful if you think you have celiac disease, but it's also useful in ruling it out. The test for celiac disease usually consists of a blood test and then a bowel biopsy. Thanks. For the rest of us, there's no evidence that a gluten-free diet will offer any significant health benefits. In fact, you may be missing some. Many gluten breads and cereals are fortified with iodine, iron, folate and calcium. Grains also add fibre, vitamins and selenium to our diet.
I'm really lucky because I have really respectful flatmates, and we've actually made our entire kitchen gluten-free. Everything in here is completely safe for me. And my flatmates keep all of their gluten stuff, like their breads and their marmites, over there in the gluten-free naughty corner. And that's what we like to call it, just for fun.